What's up, party people? It's your old pal F here, and according to all signs, we are theoretically live. Of course, I'm the only one here at the moment, but that's fine as well. In just about 25 minutes, we will be premiering for the first time the Petty Avenger, which is a cartoon that we started working on very, very early on in the uh, uh, early gestational days of Fountain's Pen cartoons, and so this is a really exciting one. One of the reasons this Petty Avenger sort of stands out as a point of pride for me, and I think for everyone working at Fountain's Pen, is this is a cartoon that was based on a single panel comic strip that I did, which I have posted on the posts for this channel, as well as pretty much all my other social media pages. So if you go to any one of those things, you'll be able to see the original single panel comic upon this was based. And again, it was one of those things where I sort of assumed that this would be an extraordinarily simple, potentially, just 20-second long bit of animation that we decided to, animate. And again, I just thought it was literally going to be something that would go into YouTube Shorts or something like that. But, over the course of the last couple of years, people have just taken to the premise, I think, of a superhero who goes out of his way not to stop the world from being obliterated by aliens, but rather to avenge life's petty annoyances. And so when we first started getting a crew together, everyone just seemed to be coming up with ideas as to what to do with this character in the context of the cartoon. And what's funny is, if you look at the original comic strip, the businessman character, who, more and more, if you put some facial hair on him, he looks tremendously like me. If you look at the original comic, he's just this little background character, but now he's arguably, practically, he gets more screen time than the title character. And oh, how I wish I could show you some of the artwork that sort of was produced in the development stage of this cartoon, because I'm not going to go into details, because these are things that I might share in some sort of later format. But let's just say many of our artists created an entire headcanon centering around the Petty Avenger and his relationship with the businessman of this cartoon. So, so suffice it to say, this cartoon has gone through a massive amount of evolution. And the thing is, again, these little quick, short cartoons were, intended to literally be about 30 seconds long. But of all the characters that we've had, this one, I think, has the potential for many, many more episodes, because, of course, life is just jam packed with petty annoyances. And on that note, let me take a minute. Yes, I still have stuff on paper, if you can believe that. I want to take a minute to acknowledge some of the people who have helped bring you this cartoon. Again, this was Petty Avenger wound up being one of the cartoons that really served as a guinea pig to demonstrate whether or not we could even work under the production pipeline that we were aspiring to. In other words, like I have said many times, we have a budget of zero. Nobody's getting paid. We're all just collaborating and volunteering together, and everyone is just kind of doing it on their own time. Practically everybody involved has their day job or has school or has all these other things. So, everyone is kind of trying to accomplish these cartoons in between the lines of actually living their lives. And so, many people have come and gone um, in the making of this cartoon. But sorry, I have to take off my glasses and make sure um, that I'm reading everything correctly. Um, Oh, look, someone's in the chat. Hello, chat. Oh, and it's someone from Fountain's Pen. How delightful. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining. I'm still kind of getting my bearings here, so bear with me. There we go. Right out of the gate, I should give a huge shout out to Lathan Tedford and Cosette Delisle, who directed the Petty Avenger. And one of the things that a lot of people I don't think realize about cartoons, and or at least this is the way it's supposed to be in cartoons, is the director really is the alpha and omega of any given cartoon. Yes, storyboard artists are important, character designers are important, writers are important, everyone's important, but at the end of the day, it is the director who kind of carries the weight of, is this any good or not? And and I know that because I spent the majority of my career as a director. And I can tell you that on the one hand, it's really fun having that title shot where it says direct by, John Fountain or whatever. But then, if the cartoon airs and it doesn't get any laughs or people don't respond well to it, mm, they don't look to the producers, they don't even look to the writers, they don't look to anybody else. They look at the director, and so you get to either enjoy the victory or suffer the defeat. Um, and if you're anything like me, when you have a victory, the sort of joy from that victory lasts for about the duration of the day. But when I've directed stuff before where I've gone on to sort of go, that didn't turn out nearly the way I wanted it to, and those things last for years. There are episodes of The Fairly Odd Parents that I'm still sort of kicking myself over, going, oh, I should have done it this way, or I should have done it that way. But I also I always like to take a moment on these occasions to give a shout out to my head of production and production manager, Tiger Singh, who many people out there don't realize, and why would you, that Tiger really is the one who holds this whole production together. And if I'm to take any credit for the success of Fountain's Pen Productions and Fountain's Pen Cartoons, it is because I made the incredibly smart move of bringing Tiger on and saying, fantastic, you go ahead and run things. Because if it weren't for Tiger, none of this would be happening, because he does all the stuff that I can't do, I don't have time to do. He really runs the studio, such as it is. So without him, there just is no Fountain's Pen Cartoons. It just doesn't happen. Because and I've talked about this before, but with everybody sort of springing forward to make independent productions and stuff like that, the first thing everyone wants to do is, let's do model sheets and character designs and turnarounds, and let's get this script perfect, and that's all. Of course you have to do those things, but what a lot of people don't realize is just how important it is to have the sort of production coordinators, production managers, and like I say, Tiger is now head of production, and the production manager. Those are roles that he didn't start with those, but man, he rocketed to those very very quickly. Ooh, look, we have chat. What is the chat saying? Bring BT on next. I dare ya. I don't know what that means. Don't kick yourself, man. Oh no, you're not going to prevent me from kicking myself. Um, that's just not going to happen. Uh, any director worth their weight in salt gets really comfy with the idea of kicking themselves. I forget who it was that first said to me that every artist should have a good healthy dose of self-loathing, because without that, what's your incentive to improve and to get better and move forward. And I actually I'm kind of in line with that thinking. Now, if you become so filled with self-loathing that you can't get out of bed in the morning, well, that doesn't do anybody any good. So anyway, um oh, I see. Okay. um Hey, look, here's my bald head. um It's funny, whenever I take off my hat in front of my daughter's friends, are like, "Mr. F, you're bald." And I say to them, "No, I shave my head. There's a difference. If I didn't shave my head, my hair would grow out and you would see hair there. But it wouldn't be great looking hair. It would be really, really hideous looking hair, but I would have hair." So, um, there it's oh wow, now the chat's actually, some people are joining, and I'm being faced with the fact that my eyesight is getting bad. Yeah, soon soon soon, we are so close. What time is it? Ooh, we're almost 10 minutes away from the premiere, which means I'm going to be cutting out of this pretty soon. um Thank you to everyone who's watching and who's watching this stream. um um Oh, but somebody at least touched on this in the chat a little bit. Fountain's Pen Productions. See, there's Fountain Pen Productions and there's Fountain's Pen Cartoons. You're at Fountain's Pen Cartoons, but while you're at Fountain's Pen Cartoons, Fountain's Pen Productions is off in the ether, actually continuing to make cartoons. And we get people asking about it now all the time, and we are always looking for new people to join us. There's a if you hit me up on social media, I can send you the information on it. There are some very basic rules. Number one, you have to be an adult. You have to be over 18. And you have to be very very in tune with what it is we do here, because as I had mentioned earlier, we are not like other indie productions. We don't have a Kickstarter. We yet. We don't have any crowdfunding yet. And we don't have any Patreon subscribers yet. So you have to kind of be willing to do this for the love of the craft for the time being. Now, and then the other thing that people will say: number one, how can I join? Number two, how can I pitch my cartoons? And I'm certainly, I'm willing to go on record as saying at this point that taking pitches for other people's cartoons, creating an incubator program has always been the idea. The idea behind Fountain's Pen Cartoons has always been to be sort of what Fred Seibert did with What a Cartoon and Oh Yeah Cartoons. And so um that's in the works, but I really really wanted to make sure that we could get this down to a system where we can produce cartoons and produce them efficiently before we start branching off. Because the thing is, when you take other people's pitches, and and even when you get Patreon support, when you do all those things, it all becomes really really complicated. And one of the things that I think a lot of indie creators find themselves sort of overwhelmed with is, running a Kickstarter and running a crowdfunding, running those things. And I've heard other people talk about this. I've heard LS Mark talk about it. I've heard lots of other indie creators talk about this. Running crowdfunding campaigns and stuff like that becomes a full-time job. Um, and I don't think anyone on our crews has the ability to turn that into their full-time job. So the only reason we are able to do this and bring you these cartoons is because we have kept it as simple as is humanly possible. And what's kind of amazing is, as simple as we've kept it, it's still not that simple. There are still lots and lots of speed bumps that you hit and challenges that you face. Um, it's always just a lot harder than anybody ever anticipates. And one of the big rules that I came up with when I set this whole thing up is that if this becomes work, if this becomes stressful, and it stops being fun, I do not want to do it anymore. Um, that's the bottom line. And which is why nobody who's working at Fountains Pen Cartoons should be feeling stressed about it. Our whole goal is, yes, we want to do it. Yes, we want people to react to it, and we want to make it a success. But if we're not having any fun doing it, what's the point? So, um, so again, like I said, we're on the verge of hitting another growth spurt. As it is, we've had various as Fountain's Pen has been in existence. We've had periods where we've had more people working, less people working. So, at various times, you should just follow me at Fountain Cartoon on Twitter. That's on Twitter X. That's sort of the central hub where I do all the updates. And when we're openly looking for people to join us, I will always put it out on there. The thing is, what we always need more of are people who are able to do some of the stuff that's not nearly as fun as some of the other stuff. Like we wind up needing like cleanup artists and in-betweeners, prop designers. Um, I know that we're always looking for more people to help us out with the web stuff and all that kind of stuff. The first thing everybody asks is, "Oh, do you need a voice actor?" And fortunately, we just recently got ourselves a wonderful casting director, and we've gotten some more like names attached to the program. So I'm very excited about that. We talk a little bit more about Petty Avenger itself. This I had mentioned it in the previous video, but I'll mention it again. This was a single panel comic strip, and I wound up doing, I think, 5 of them. And I have very high ambitions for this having more than just this episode. We're calling this the first issue. Get the wordplay there? It's his first issue, as in you've got issues. I'm gonna have some coffee. But we hope to do more. And I forgot what I was going to say. The reason I'm getting distracted now is because I'm looking at the clock, and we're getting closer and closer to the premiere, and I'm super duper excited about it. I'm seeing people in the chat talking about exchanging experiences with having crowdfunding and stuff like that. And it's absolutely true. Crowdfunding, and by the way, as long as I'm doing this is one of the worst videos I've ever made. But as long as I've got you here anyway, to anybody who winds up watching this and anybody who winds up seeing this and hearing the sound of my voice, let me just say, when it comes to taking on any kind of project that you haven't already done 1,000 times before, just get it set in your mind that no matter what it is you have the ambition to do, it's probably going to be harder than you think. Not only is it probably going to be harder, it's probably going to be much harder than you think. it's probably going to be monumentally harder than you. Like I said, at Fountains Pen Productions, we keep things as streamlined and simple as I think you could possibly get away with doing, and it still gets complicated. So when people talk about, oh, we're doing crowdfunding and we'll make T-shirts and bumper stickers and get the swag together, but then the cartoon itself sort of falls by the wayside, and people get bogged down with all the extraneous stuff. Which is why, again, it's kind of a miracle to me that this cartoon even got made. Because this is, I think, 3 minutes and 20 seconds of, I think, really, really solid cartoon comedy. And when you consider that this was done by people all over the globe, just in their spare time, with everything working against us that we could possibly have working against us, I think it came out absolutely amazingly. Um, Once again, I want to express my sincere and deep gratitude to absolutely everyone who worked on it. I'm not going to go over all your names right this second, but they're printed in the cartoon, and I also put them in the description. But again, last big shout out to Lathan Tedford and Cosette Delisle. I always want to make sure I pronounce everyone's names correctly, because I now know everybody by two different names, their screen name and their actual name. But kudos to both of you for making what I think is a really fun, amazing cartoon. And please, if you're watching this, hop off this now and get going to the cartoon. Please let me know what you think in the comments. I read all the comments and I reply to as many of them as I possibly can. Let me know if you want to see more of this character. And on that note, I'm going to hop off because we're going to have a viewing party on the Discord server for Fountains Pen Productions. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the cartoon. I hope to hear from you. Zigga zigga, party people.